Hi everyone, this is Josh Culp. We are learning Daf Shuli. We are on Daf Kaf Aleph of Masechet Gittin. And I'm going to do something that I have not done with you guys before on these videos, and that's talk about the etymology of a particular word in the Mishnah. Our Mishnah talks about writing materials that you're not allowed to use for writing the get, and they include diftera and ni'ar. Diftera is clearly a Greek word. I think most scholars think that it means a rough parchment. Ni'ar is a totally common, banal Hebrew word, which today is used to mean paper. And just like paper, it is, you don't think twice about using the word. You don't think about it's a pure Hebrew word. But of course, things are more complicated when we delve under the surface. The word niyar does not appear in the Torah, in the Tanakh, anywhere. It appears first in the Mishnah, and actually in his discussion of the etymology of the word, Ben Yehuda, the first Mishnah that he cites is our Mishnah, which means that it is not a very common word. So I wanted to look up what was paper in the 2nd century CE. So I looked that up first on Wikipedia and found that the paper that they were using probably wasn't anything like the paper that we use today, but it was more like papyrus, which of course, although I had never really thought about this, the word paper and papyrus of course come from the same origin. But then I was trying to think, I wanted to look up, where does the word niyar come from? If it's not in the Tanakh, where does it come from? So I looked it up on Ben Yehuda's dictionary, which is the original first etymological dictionary written by Eliezer Ben Yehuda over 100 years ago. And what Ben Yehuda points out is that many early scholars had no idea where the word niyar comes from. And his assumption is that it is very much strikingly similar to the word papyrus. Now, when we go back to the word papyrus, where does the word papyrus come from? Papi yaor. Yaor is the word for the Nile. It appears in the Tanakh as well. The Yaor is the original word for the Nile River, and papyrus means it comes from the Nile, which is where papyrus originally came from. And most shockingly to me was that ni'ar also comes from the same root, and it means from the Yaor, ni Yaor, from the Yaor River, from the Nile. So ni'ar and papyrus are not only the same thing originally, but they also mean literally the same thing. They're both reeds or plants drawn from the Nile and used for writing material. So I thought that was very cool. It made me reconsider what the word Mishnah originally meant. I had really honestly never thought about the connection between paper and papyrus, and I certainly did not know that there was any etymological connection between ni'ar and papyrus. Jews, I do not believe, began to use regular paper such we use until much later, as would have most of the people in the Western world. I believe that it got there from China in a later period through Muslim lands eventually, and then became the common writing material. But I am not a expert on the history of paper, but still I thought it was a cool thing to think about as we're learning this Mishnah. The niyar that they were using must have been a lot more like papyrus and not at all like the paper that we use today.